All right, guys. Well, let me tell you, I'm very excited to be here. I've given quite a few of these speeches through the years. This is a different audience for me, and I'm excited about it. We're doing something different. Down here in the front, the guy at my firm, his name's Craig Dunaway. See the bald spot in the back here? Yeah. That's Craig Dunaway. He's worked with me for 25 years. He had the bright idea today, first time in 25 years, hey, let's videotape this one. I don't want to do that, but all of a sudden he showed up with the camera, and he's right down here in the front. So I may throw a zinger or two his way during the time, and he'll probably be the guy that answers the questions when I can't answer the questions later on. That's just the way things are. So I'm also slightly jacked up, and I'm telling you the truth. I hit the speedway on the way over. Our energy going. The top's off, so you believe it, and I've also hit the coffee. So I apologize for a few things that may spew out of my mouth on occasion. It's all in good fun. It's not real scientific. This is branding. This is the emotional stuff, and it's designed to be fun for you guys and hopefully enlightening. So what I'm going to do, and I'll probably screw up the technology a couple times just so you know that's going to happen. So don't feel bad about that. Let me start with getting these things basically going. You're hearing this all the time: old Detroit, new Detroit, blah blah blah. I'm going to start with the most obvious thing. The thing that you guys live with every day. You've been reading it, hearing it, doing it, talking about it. How many times have we heard this lately? You know, Detroit is changing. Well, no shit. Detroit is changing. Well, that's new news. Read about it in forums, read about it in LinkedIn 1,000 times. Not only Detroit, the automotive business is changing. Dan Gilbert's changing everything. The town's changing. We know that. Detroit is changing. But you know what I think what's really true about that is say, well, Detroit's not really changing. It's changed. So if you're just waiting for it to change and do what you're going to do, you're already too late. It's freaking different. I grew up in Dearborn. I grew up right near the glass house there. This industry's never seen times like this before. And it's a fascinating, incredible time to be a part of it. And you guys know it because you deal with it every day. I deal with a lot of days, but not every day. So the words that we hear today are so different than the words that we used to hear, right? When we're talking about this business. And here's the most used words, again. Talent, research, design, engineering, innovation, electrification, connected, autonomous. That's where the world is today, right? I mean, it's the billions of impressions, the billions of words we see on the internet, all about this, all pointing here, all coming here. And what we're going to talk about is whether you guys, or maybe the people you work for, if they are ready. You know, are they acting the right way given where we are right now? Are they delivering on this from a branding perspective? And that's what we're going to talk about. And I think at the end of all this, and I learned this from one of the clients I'm going to show you a little case study on before, at the end of the day, all these terms kind of get wrapped up in one word, and this is it: speed. It's like incredible, the change and how quickly we have to do things. It's true in my business, it's true in your business, it's true in their business. You know, heck, stuff I used to take 6 months to do, I got to do in 6 hours, and that's not a joke. And there's some version of that that's inside this room, and you guys know what it's like. We just have to change from the inside out so quickly. So it's like, what are we going to do? Are we changing to the pace and the pace that we need to be successful? Okay? And at the end of the day, I'm not true of all you guys, because I don't know every one of you, obviously, but it's true of the clients that we've worked with. They essentially say it in this way: we've gone from hardware to software. We're software companies. That's what we do. We've got to attract software people. We've got to look like a software company. We've got to talk like one. We've got to be one. It's different. We're software companies. And how are we going to communicate that? How do we make that change from hardware to software? What does that look like? Does our brand look correct the way it is today? Are we saying the right thing today? So the change from hardware to software it's there. So you know all this stuff. So let's talk about the brand. Okay? The brand is not your logo. The brand is everything. It's the summation of all the things that you do, how you communicate, how you talk, how you look, how you feel, how you sound. Okay? That is your brand. And I always look at a brand, I always got to do some analogies like, how does your brand look? Say it was, it's like your suit of clothes, right? right? It is like your suit of clothes. It's what you wear. It's how people see you. It's how they perceive you. So you imagine you walk into a room with your suit of clothes, and you make that impression real quickly if someone walks into the room with a suit of clothes. I like that guy. I like that girl. That looks good. That looks bad. That looks good. Your website does that. Your communications do that. You get the same side of information from people based on that. So the question is today, and what we're going to talk about is, how are you entering the room? What is your suit of clothes? Okay? And also, what decade are you from? I've seen 70s, 80s, 90s with a lot of zeros attached to them, right? There's a lot of big businesses that have a brand that's old, but they are very, very successful, and it's hard to get them to change. There's a lot of reasons for that. So what decade is your brand from today? Does it look like this, right? Literally, I mean, for us designers, we can look at a logo, we can look at a website, we can look at a page. We kind of see that. That's how we see it, because we're trained to do it. We can see an old brand, a dusty, tired brand from afar. So what I did is I snuck. I got the list of all the people that were here. And we decided to go look at their websites, your websites. And honest to gosh, there's some really good ones here. There's some absolutely dreadful, awful ones. But there are some good ones. There are definitely some good ones. So my tip to those of you, a few of you, if you go down to the footer of your website and you see copyright 1997, you're in trouble, right? If you see 2007, you're in trouble, right? If you see 2012, you're almost in trouble, right? If you see 2017, you're not in trouble, but you're thinking about, what the heck can I do next, right? And that's the difference. I mean, we need to change. We need to find a way to get out of 1997. Now, I did not see 1997. I saw 2002, 2003, 2005. But I did not see any 1997s. But if that's where you are, and someone that you work for doesn't think you need to change, he or she is dead wrong. And I think you guys know it. That's why you're at this conference. That's why you're here today. Okay? So then you got to ask yourself this question as I go to redo my brand or look at my brand differently and ask these kind of questions. Do you look and sound as smart and progressive as you are? Or do you go, and I'm talking about the marketing people here, do you go, gosh, okay, take a look at it. Here's the website. Here's the URL. Go look at it. Are you proud of it, or do you cringe? The goal is to be proud of it, right? Is it as smart as the company is? Sometimes there's brilliant, brilliant companies that kind of put this marketing, branding stuff on the back burner because they're so busy doing what they do well that they don't let this happen. So do you look as smart as you are? Then you got to do what we do, and I don't have time to tell you about the whole process, how we're going to go through all of this, or how we do it for our companies, because I'd rather show you an example or two. You got to ask yourself kind of these questions, and maybe you've already done it. What are we really, right? What are we? I mean, what were we? What are we, right? How have we changed? What's different than it was 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 9 years ago, 2 years ago? You know, what the heck do we want to look like in 10 years? Do we still want to look like we are today, or do we need to change? Chances are you're in this presentation because you know or you're interested in change and being what's next. And what about our messaging? It's not just the way it looks. Even though viscerally you respond to how something looks, what about the story? What about the messaging? Is it relevant today? How long has it been since it's been updated? And if it's updated, how often does it get updated? So that's what we really want to know. And at the end of the day, does your brand have the tone, spirit, look, and attitude that will attract the top talent today and tomorrow? We hear that all the time. It's all about talent. It's all about recruiting. It doesn't matter if you're a law firm. It doesn't matter what you are. Do you have the look, feel, space? I'm going to talk about AxleTech in a minute. They're talking about changing. They've got to change the space because these people want to work in a different kind of an environment. So do you have what it takes to attract the talent that you're going to need for this revolution, the bad word, that's taking place? Do you have that talent and the look that's going to attract them or not? So then you got to ask yourself this. Do we need an evolution or a revolution? Do we need to wipe the slate clean, or do we just need to grow from what we have and just kind of tweak it? You know what I mean? Just kind of modify it a little bit. Keep it fresh, but not wipe the slate clean. You know, do we need to change the name? That's the most dramatic thing. We start over with a name change. Maybe we need a new logo. Maybe we just need to refresh the website. Maybe we just need better collateral. Maybe our digital marketing isn't good enough. What do we need? Do we need an evolution or a revolution? And that's one of the questions you have to ask and you have to get answered. Okay? So here quickly, if any of you are thinking about redoing your logo, which is not your brand, it's just your logo. If you're thinking about it, I always find these things interesting. I'm going to show you just the evolution. You've probably seen these slides before. A logo basically just gets modified over time, right? It rarely gets just slapped together and doesn't change. And I think these are interesting. I want to just illustrate one point here. There's where they were, there's where they are now, right? Great brands, Ford, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Pepsi, which is fascinating. But anyhow, the point that I want to make here is if you go from left to right, everything just gets what? Simple. Simple wins. The leaders know that simple, and I'm going to use that word so much in the next 12 minutes, you're going to want to kick me out of here. It's all about simplification. And these are just a few examples of what it's like. Okay, so just keep that in mind of all the things I'm going to talk about later and whatever you have going on in your own organization right now. So, AxleTech, right? Prominent name, most people know it. Bill and Mary Petrovich called us and they said, "Oh, we got a 100th anniversary coming. I think maybe we need a logo or something. We got to celebrate the 100th anniversary." And we sat down and we talked to them. And we kind of did what we did for your guys. So we kind of did an audit of it. Then Mary, I think you guys are a lot smarter than you're coming across. Why don't we kind of take a look at this whole thing and kind of wrap our arms around the whole AxleTech brand? Okay, well let's get going. We don't have time, so let's get going. So it was interesting that when I got the chance to do this, I called Bill and I said, "Bill, I think I know the answer to this question. Why did you guys decide to hire us? Why did you decide to do this?" He said, "Well, we really didn't have a choice. We're going to change or we're going to die. We just can't stay the same. We're going to change or we're going to die. And we've chosen in a big way to not die." They're rocking and rolling in a huge way. And they just realized that their brand, their essence, their attitude, their look, their feel at that time just did not match where they were as a business. And they realized it and went after it big time. So we did the project. Here's another thing that he said. I said, I'll just read it to you. At the end of the project, I said, no, here's what I'll say. The great thing about this project, and I don't know what level of management you have, and you've got to answer to a board of directors or who you have to answer to, but the reason this project was so successful is that the chairman and the CEO of the organization sat in on every meeting and every phone call, right? And that just jacked up the speed of the project 20-fold. And I said, "Mary, we need a half an hour. You got a half an hour. 31 minutes, you know Mary Petrovich, she kicked my ass out of the room. You all right? You get 30 minutes, and that's the way it's going to be, right?" And that's what led to the project being so successful. And I think it's just something that we all need. If you are, if there's somebody that you can get in the room that can make a decision that you don't have to, take stuff to, get them in the room. Okay? And this is interesting. Everything we do is fast. So is changing our brand identity. From the very first meeting to the trade show graphics booth being done was 4.5 months. Not just doing the logo, the logo process, the collateral, the brochure, the video, the business cards, the business papers, start to finish, including implementation of a trade show booth in less than 5 months. And that's incredible. I mean, that's moving fast, no matter who you're talking about. So let's look at the case study for AxleTech. So there's the logo. Looks like it could have been 80s or 90s. I believe it's actually 2002. So that was their 2002 version logo. And it's not terrible, but man, oh man, how come everybody has a blue logo? You ever wonder what that is? Everybody has a doggone blue logo. One thing we told them all along, and they agreed, is, hey, Bill and Mary, at this point in time, isn't international kind of a given? Do you really need to say international up there? I think for your business and where you are, I think people know that if you're going to be a player in the industry, international is part of the game. So we took international. So we did 40 or 50 logos for them. Took us a couple weeks total to get that done. And you know, all different kind of ranges from, I'll call an A and an M and a Z, whatever. At the end of the day, we wanted something that was simpler and cleaner and more modern, and this is what it looks like. So there it is. So that's AxleTech today. And it was clean. It's got the two circles that kind of represent the wheels. Boom, everything, the brains between the wheels. You don't have to know more than that. Boom. AxleTech, clean, simple, easy to digest, kind of timeless, contemporary. They were happy, we're happy, here we go. So the next thing we did, which I think is interesting, is we did a really cheap video. Remember the days, for those of you as old as I am, when you go to a corporate video, oh my God, that's going to cost tens and 20, 50, 100 grand, I got to get a film crew, blah, blah, blah. That's not how it is anymore, guys. If anybody tells you that, they're not working hard enough. You get the iPhone, you do some interviews, you find some existing footage, you take a couple things, you do a quick little shoot, you have a smart writer kind of put together a story. Hell, 7 days later, you're done. And that's what lean, mean companies do these days, right? There's smarter ways to do things. Use the technology to your advantage. And that's what we did. We do phone calls, record the phone calls, put a little filter over the voices, and it sounds fine.
We're changing gears.
We are transforming.
The impact we can now make between the wheels
Is greater than ever.
We've got overqualified people that love the esprit de corps, that love to win.
The new brand is just the first step
in the redefinition of AxleTech.
新的品牌是我们重新定义 AxleTech 的第一步。
We wanted our new logo to reflect the transformation.
AxleTech.
Relentless.
relentless.
Energy.
I thought it was interesting that they love that word relentless, and that's kind of a bold word, you know? I thought that was kind of cool that they embraced that word, and they believe it. I mean, that's the cool thing. They believe it from internally. So when you go into some of their corporate communication materials, you saw the logo, it's white, it's got green on it. Guess what? Everything's going to be white and green. That consistency is what makes the difference out in the marketplace. I'll talk about that a little bit later. So there's just basically the corporate brochure, which is real simple, which has very minimal copy on it because nobody reads copy anymore unless they're really digging for something important. Then they go to the website and they get it and they find it and they read it. But when you interrupt their day with it, they don't want to be bombarded. Okay? Cleaned up with a website. Once again, real simple. It's a technical company. We're not hammering you with page after page after page of product. You want to see product? We'll show it. Just go to the link and find it. It's in there. But we don't hammer you over the head with product right out of the chute. The trade show booth, obviously cleaned up. Show some product there. Use the same color palette. Use the same look and feel. Do everything. Resist the temptation to throw a bunch of stuff on it because trade shows are inherently busy. So you might as well have a quiet booth in a busy trade show. That's what we try to do for them here. Mary wanted to buy some billboards. Now this is comped up. We bought 2 billboards out, across the highway from each other at the airport. Had a lot of people coming in. Once again, the simplest billboards are heavy-duty thinking, electrifying results. You know, trying to boil this whole thing down in a couple of words. That's what this whole thing is about. Short bursts of information. And that's kind of one of the main messages they want to say is that it's brain power and it works. Simply, that's what that says. What an ad would look like. Once again, most ads are a lot busier than that. You know, we always think, give me a headline and give me 2 sentences. I'll give you that much time. Most of us haven't read an ad that had much more than copy than that in a long, long time, no matter how it was served to you. You just don't take the time to do it. Get the employees excited, that's important for sure. Once again, we got to figure it out. It's going to be white, it's going to be big, it's going to be green type, and we're going to say something. So we're letting the people know in the plant and in the marketplace that we're changing. So you buy these big giant banners, real simple white banners, and put them all over. So you can see the brand and the spirit it's kind of coming across. There's some confidence there. There's some enthusiasm, and it's working. You know, redress the lobby for them. Once again, that's important. Like I said earlier, recruiting the space, what's your cube going to look like, what's your office going to look like, how modern is it, what does it look like. So this is how you take the brand and you put it inside the corporate building. And that's essentially real quickly, because I only got a couple more minutes here. That's kind of the AxleTech story. There's a whole bunch more that we did, but that's kind of a, like I said, executive summary of what it was like. So to go from 2000 or 1993 to here was, and that's kind of how it looks. So here's just a couple of other things, just for the heck of it, to show you just before and afters on logos. Some people like that. Our friends at Eagle Ottawa basically had this logo. I was like, man, that's a crazy logo. There's a lot going on there. It's got the Indian head, it's got the eagle, it's got 3 different colors. And you know what we always thought was kind of peculiar about that, Anna? Where is it? It never said what they did. You know? You really don't know what it is. There's some leather swipes. It's an expensive logo to put on a golf shirt, I'll tell you that. So anyhow, that's how we clean that one up. All right, so that's a little before and after, a little different, more progressive feel. We looked at 7,000 eagles in order to do that. Turnus Packaging Logistics Company. Now there's a classic logo that looks like somebody had their high school kid do it for them, right? You usually don't offend people, but if that guy's in here. Well, that's our cleanup of that one. Symbol of Turnus. Once again, we try to do fine line between contemporary, and you want something that's going to last for a long time. You want it to feel like it's timeless. PLEX right down the street. Everybody sees the PLEX logo on the building. I'm going to show PLEX in a minute. That's what they were before. The whole purple kind of swirly thing just felt a little odd, so we cleaned that up for PLEX, which was great. So there's that. And sometimes it's not just your logo, right? Like I said, your brand is so much more than your logo. So here's an example of a brand that is really smart people, really successful. The whole PLEX thing, the ERP cloud-based software. You guys probably, your companies probably use them, you know. They do amazing things. Here's the ad that they showed us when we met them. Introducing the amazing Mr. Barcode. That's what that says. Faster than a customer's change demand. Stronger than the 4 walls of your factory. Powerful enough to pinpoint a product recall down to the case. I mean, those points are interesting, but man, what a bad way to make it. Right? You don't look smart there. PLEX is smart. You don't look smart there. Okay? This is the ad we did for them, which is a manufacturing cloud that helps you improve every tiny detail. It's what's next. So the little simple silhouette things and more of a sophisticated thing that kind of represents the kind of the thought behind what's going on there. So also old DELPHI and the steering division. You probably have seen this sign. We rebranded this. That was a great project. They picked the logo in about 7 minutes. Had a group of 9 people, right, Craig? I mean, just boom. We'll take that one. Next thing you know, it's everywhere. So that was fun. We renamed it and also changed that, so that's really well. And here's an ad we did for Continental. It's an example of it. It's not like some of the Germans may not think it's sophisticated or engineeringly enough or whatever those terms are, but I like it because it says something without saying much, without showing much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fly. Big idea, smarter cars. Okay, just a simple graphic to talk about the technology and where they're going. And they're doing some amazing things. Probably might be some Continental people here doing some amazing things, and we're really excited for all the work that we do for them. Okay, so that's the background. I got 5 more minutes and some examples of things, and we can talk later, and Craig will answer all your questions. So this is what I would do some of the things I would do if I were you guys. This is where I go back and say, this is what we need to do. Might be presumptuous, but I'm going to do it anyway. Do a brand audit. Go back, get a room, and just put up every single thing that the world sees from your organization. Everything. You know, email signatures all the way through to the website homepage. If you do advertising, just put it all in a room and check it out. Then, take your top 5 competitors and put all their stuff, all you can get your hands on, in the room too, right? And that's that's the first thing you need to do. You got to see the field that we're playing in. Here's what we look like. Here's what they look like, right? And that's absolutely one of the first things that I would do if I was hired as a consultant. And I think what you're going to find is two things, because we've done it many, many times. I'll call most brands show up and throw up. What I mean by that, they just spew stuff at you. I mean, they just got everything but the kitchen sink. It's all going to be busy. There's going to be way too much going on. There's going to be a billion words. There's going to be 18 pictures. They're going to try and throw everything but the kitchen sink at you. And that's typically what you're going to see, which is a great opportunity. The other thing you're going to see is, man, when you squint at this stuff, it all looks the same. Why are we all doing blue? Well, it looks the same. They got that picture of that whatever over there. We got one of those too. Or there's that guy on the factory floor. Oh, well, we got one of those too. You'll see a sea of sameness. And that's how you communicate to your organization, whoever it is that doesn't live in this every day, that we're not standing out. We just look like them. So how do you expect us to be great when we just look like everybody else? So that's one thing that I would do. And the hard work comes once you do that, you got to find your difference. Right? What makes us the one? And that's the hard work. And sometimes you need research, sometimes you need consultants, sometimes that's the one that can take some time. Find our difference. And sometimes that's usually a long-winded thing. You know, it's our big mission thing, our big this, our big differentiator, all these marketing textbook things. It's usually 3 paragraphs. So the goal of that is, you got to boil this stuff down, right? Boil it down. Mary boils down to AxleTech, the heavy-duty thinking for heavy-duty vehicles. Heavy-duty thinking, heavy-duty vehicles. Boil it down. That's what we are. That's what we do, right? And that's the kind of stuff you got to do. So boil it down. And the reason you got to boil it down, among all the other reasons, is one of the great reasons is this. The doggone phone is everybody's tool, right? That's why it's got to be simple. It's got to fit on something this big. You know that. It's been like that for a long time, but it's not going to change. So if you've got busy things on a little phone, that doesn't fly. You need to boil it down so that it'll work on your phone. It doesn't work on these giant laptops. It works on the phone. Start with the phone and go from there. So that's another thing that we learned. Sometimes the hard way. And then again, how do you do that? You simplify. It should be the word. It should be simplify. It should be the word above your office. Simplify. Everything will get better if you do. And one way you do that is by owning a color. Right? UPS has simplified my life. I know when a guy walks in with a brown jet suit on, that's UPS is here. Right? I know that if I give my wife a turquoise blue box, she's going to be happy. Because that's Tiffany. Right? John Deere, Caterpillar. Own a color. If anybody lives in Ann Arbor, the Bank of Ann Arbor is one of our clients. They own lime green. We put up 400 billboards after the last 10 years. They're all lime green. They own that color. No other bank's going to put lime green billboard. So you simplify my life by letting me know, sending me a signal that you got something to say, and that's what a color does. Own a color. All right? Then I want you to simplify some more, because that's the key to the whole thing I have to say here. And I'm almost done. Rally the troops. I think that's one thing that people don't realize as much, is that this effort is just as important with internal communication as it is with external communication. That's when it works, because everybody that works for you is a brand ambassador. You know, so think about those people. Think about the internal groups and getting them excited. They want to be proud of the place they work. They want to think your marketing is cool. You don't think the people that work at the great brands, Nike, they don't strut their stuff about their marketing, or Apple? You know, why can't it happen in this category? It can. Somebody's got to be great. Why not you guys? Someone's got to be different. Why not you guys? Someone's got to do something different than everybody else. Why not you guys? Right? It's possible. And then if you do, then there's this confidence and this stuff that happens. Let me read you Mary's thing and Mary Petrovich's thing in the book. It's this little simple book that I told you about. She says it's time to break some personal records. That's what she says. Time to go faster than we've ever gone. Be more agile than we've ever been. Go to market at a speed greater than ever before. Time to step up our game in a big way. There made no doubt what she's talking about there, what she wants her people to feel. We are not messing around. Then she ends it with this great little quote. We move so fast that even if we make a mistake, we can double back and fix it before our competition is even in the game. There's some swagger there, right? There's some swagger there. Take that. And I'm going to tell you what, that's the kind of stuff that people like. That's the coach mentality. That's saying we're not just going to be run-of-the-mill here. this thing's going to work, and we're going to make a lot of money one of these days. And I believe she's going to do it. So, rally the troops. Think about the troops, not just the customers that you're trying to reach. And this is not a plug. I swear to God, this is not a plug. Hire an expert. Don't hire me. You don't have to hire me. Hire an outsider to come in so you don't have, it's so hard for some people to look in the mirror. I look in the mirror today and I got a lot of hair in my mind, right? You need an outsider to come in and give you that perspective, to kind of come in and take a look at it, and be able to tell someone, you know, to stand across the room and say, we kind of suck. I know you own the company, but we suck, right? An outsider can do that. Somebody that's inside probably can't do that. So hire an expert. And if you do that, and you simplify, and you enjoy it, and you rally the troops, this is what we hope, and what we try to do, and what we believe in, is somebody has to be the envy of the category. Somebody has to be the one that the other people are jealous of, right? And my thought here is that you guys, I'm sure there's a lot of businesses in this room that have the bones to be the envy of the category, the one that everyone's jealous of. But it just takes everybody to come together and believe in it and do a big version or a little version of what Mary did. Believe in it, go out and do it. So, right on time, I'm all done. Thank you very much.